Hey guys, so I am here with my pal Luke Chu.
Hey, how's it going?
You probably have never seen this area before. We are actually in Geiru's little workshop here, his office.
Yep, there
he is, and we're all matching. We all have masks on. Yeah, we're not here to talk about Geiru here.
Well, we could.
We could. Yeah. We could.
No, you're here to talk about.
It's funny. We just actually watched Broly right after we realized, oh snap! Into the Spider-Verse is out tonight.
It was a double feature, guys.
It's a double feature tonight.
They went without me.
Yeah,
I had work to do.
It was day night,
but still.
Day night. We had me and Luke had day night.
Yeah.
So
Judas 1, Judas 2.
I have no idea how you breathe through this thing, man. So
I'm used to it already.
I'm losing the mask.
We're not gonna have any spoilers in this discussion. This little review thing that we're doing. We saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I am pretty well versed.
You should say you're very Spider-Verse.
I am very Spider-Versed with Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, Spider-Man Noir. I've actually have both miniseries that came out. But you're a big comic book guy.
I was a comic book guy.
Yeah, you were a comic book guy. You have an understanding of a lot of the classic stories.
Sure. And I've watched all the Spider-Man movies. I fancy myself a little bit of an expert.
But you were unfamiliar with Miles Morales, and Gwen Stacy being a spider person is strange to you. Right?
Yeah, it was completely new to me. And then especially the ones I definitely didn't hear about were the Noir Spider-Man and the Japanese girl Spider-Woman girl with the robot thing.
Penny Parker, yeah.
I didn't know anything about her. I knew about the Spider-Pig or...
The gag, yeah.
Yeah, because I was a fan of Sergio
Spider-Pig is a Simpsons. It's a Spider-Ham.
Sorry.
AKA
See, that's
Peter Porker.
Peter Porker, yes.
That's how much I know of that. I just knew that it was designed by Sergio Aragonés, and I used to be a big fan of Gru Comics and Mad Magazine.
With that introduction, we're going to get
two different perspectives.
Two perspectives. So, first of all, just overall, I loved it. I actually enjoyed it as an overall. I thought it was a really solid movie. What would you think?
I loved it too. They did a pretty good job on explaining like who these guys are. It was kind of like a running gag throughout the movie.
Yeah, it was very self-aware, which I loved. Comic books are all over the place, multiverses, and there was a lot of callbacks to like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies. Like he even had a callback to when he saved the subway.
Yes.
And I don't want to spoil too much, but they talked a lot about certain Spider-Men in different iterations.
Yeah, they did a lot. The first bit was all referential to the Sam Raimi, Spider-Man movies, and I thought it was hilarious because
even iconic moments too, like even the upside down kiss, everything. Of course, the star of the movie was Miles Morales. As someone who was aware of his origins and his family ties and stuff, there was a twist in the movie that you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. I was aware of the twist, but it still hit me when the moment that happened. It still hit me. Those 3 moments that I really wanted to tear up and cry.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to because I was sitting right next to Luke, but I was like holding it.
Maybe you could always right here. Right here.
Right here. Okay, I have a shoulder to cry on right here. The character building of Miles Morales was done very, very well, and even with some of the side characters. But whenever there was a scene between him and his dad or him and his uncle,
it was sincere.
It was very sincere. Yeah,
and familial.
The thing that stood out to me the most, and this is my only negative with the entire movie,
right?
Was as much as I love the art style and I love the art direction, it was kind of jarring in the beginning. When some things in focus and everything in the background and the foreground is kind of blurred out. So they did a thing in this where it was the same thing where they have the subject that's in focus and things that are in the background or in the foreground are blurred out, but they made it so that it looked like it was it had a weird 3D type effect. Because I was sitting down, and once the movie started happening, there was moments in the movie where I was looking around trying to see if anyone in the theater was wearing 3D glasses.
Right.
Because I wasn't sure if it was supposed to look like that or because it was so jarring to me.
It was really jarring, and the funny thing is that, like, you know, I know that you kind of acclimated to the effect, but like after you kind of like mentioned it to me, it like
did it bug you?
It started bugging me worse and worse. And,
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
but
like for me, like it bugged me in the beginning, like maybe the first 20 minutes, and then eventually my eyes got used to it. There were some moments where it was still like very like apparent. Like I was even looking at my ticket to see if it was like we got into like a 3D movie, but nobody's wearing 3D glasses, so I figured it was just the art style. I got used to it. I guess for you, I kind of embedded like some placebo where you're just like, oh no, I can't get this out of my head. But
you know, one of the great things I thought about the movie was, I mean, like as we had mentioned before, how hyper aware it is, and like one of the things that they did a lot of was a lot of dialogue bubbles or like a description, like blocks of text, you know, like in frames of a comic book.
Yeah,
you know, it was a very typographic kind of, you know, like movie, and the effects were really fun, and you know, everything was fluid. The action was great. None of it like got too like crazy, like say Transform. They were.
I don't know about that. Like the finale got a little crazy.
It did get crazy, but, but like, you know, in the same way, you know, like you would expect, like say a Pixar like climax to be like.
I see. It was just very over the top. Like this is the final showdown, kind of like let's go all out. Yeah. Another thing that I really appreciated in this movie, music choice. I felt like it was very urban and like very New York. Yeah. Like as a guy who used to b-boy, right? Like I love the fact, and you know, I appreciate like hip hop culture and graffiti and stuff. There was a scene where Miles, well, throughout the beginning, like you can see that like he's tagging in his notebook and doing all these things, and there's a scene where he's doing graffiti, and he's doing it was a cool little graffiti montage that was super dope, and like the music choice like through the entire movie was so cool.
Yeah, so like, but you know, all the music was very timely. It was very of this year of, you know.
Oh, definitely.
So, like, and yeah, it was. And you definitely need to stick around to the post credits.
Oh, okay. This post credit sequence is probably the best post credit sequence I've ever seen.
Yeah, I walked away from that feeling
at first,
and I didn't even know who that character was. Like, I mean, I did, like I said, you know, I don't know very much.
Oh, did you not really?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
But it still was funny to me, and like because of. Like, you know, jumping back to the beginning.
Oh, yeah,
you know, and so...
It's cool because the moment the post-credit scene happens, people who know who that person is, they're gonna be like, right? Like, oh my god, it's, you know, him. And then it throws you for a loop, and it's totally unexpected what happens, and you're just like, oh my god, this is literally like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, all the multiple, you know.
Yeah. It was great.
I think overall, I would say this is... Dare I say, this is my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Wow.
It's just so unapologetic and just very accepting what it is. It's a comic book movie, and is that they're embracing how comic booky like all the source material is, and they're throwing it in there. And it's funny because this is the reason why we love these stories. Why change them anyway? Like just bring them onto the screen, and that's what makes Into the Spider-Verse amazing, because like everyone loves these comics, you know, and they literally just were like, you know what, we're gonna take this, we're gonna adapt it just so it fits on the movie, but here you go, here's exactly
right. I think there's a lot of fan service going on.
Oh, definitely
in the movie, and even like the weird details. I imagine like, you know, like there's a lot of weird details in the background that like I imagine are references to maybe the comic stuff or.
Oh, there was so many things that like I would just like. You know,
like
just callbacks and little nods.
You know,
I'm just
like cell phone screens and stuff like that. So it was
yeah. Oh, whenever there's a, I'll just say this right now. Whenever you see somebody using a cell phone and they're flipping through like contacts, look at all the names. It blew my mind. It was like, oh, this. Yeah, and even some of the graffiti and everything. There's little nods here and there for all the fans, and obviously there's a lot of really cool jokes. They played with the other characters. You know, Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Noir. I loved how their character designs were totally from the Spider-Man Noir is always black and white.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
and Penny is like super anime kawaii.
And flat looking.
And super flat. Yeah.
It was
and
really
Peter
nice
Parker just looked like
came out of a cartoon.
Yeah, came out of a cartoon. So
he actually was doing very cartoony kind of tropey.
I loved it. I love when he was fighting, it was super cartoony. Like
it was lots of weird Acme kind of references. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I think it's very kid friendly. It's kid friendly. Do you think that it is a movie that should be experienced in the theater, or if you had to, it
was a visual. Well, I mean, sure,
I'm glad that I saw it in the theater.
Oh yeah, I'm glad. Like I do feel like even though I was kind of jarring in the beginning, I loved getting immersed with all the. It was like a visual orgasm.
Yes,
like it was so over the top. Yeah,
sure.
It was a feast for the eyes. It was really crazy, and I mean, sure, maybe if I saw it on a smaller screen, maybe the crazy visuals, like the 3D kind of like blurriness that was kind of that bothered me in the beginning. Maybe it wouldn't bother me so much if it was smaller.
Right, it might be tighter.
Yeah, maybe the fact that it was so big. I would definitely see it in the theater. I would probably see it again.
I also liked the character designs, right? Because they were stylized, but it wasn't so overly stylized that it felt like.
Nah, I mean Kingpin.
Yeah, Kingpin.
Yeah, Kingpin was way over the top.
Yeah, he was over the top.
Because I wasn't the moment he stepped on the screen. I'm like, that's Kingpin, but is he?
Yeah, no, he was frighteningly large, but like the Gwen design, the Peter Parker design,
they're all really good.
Miles design, they all look great, so yeah. I'm actually kind of curious whether or not the Penny Parker design is actually a direct reference to
no. So the Spider-Man Noir actually in the beginning you couldn't really tell, but later on you could tell that you see the Spider-Man lines, but it's just black. It kind of looks like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3's design, but with the coat and the hat. In the comic book, he has a ski mask and goggles, and he has a trench coat. So it's almost the same, except he does no Spider-Man design.
Right.
So he's a little different. Peter Parker looks exactly the same. Gwen looks exactly the same, except her face is a little different and the hair's a little different. She looks more like Gwen Stacy that we originally remember with the headband and the hair. Penny looks like she kind of looks like she's a little older in the comic book. Okay. In this one, she's maybe 8 or
she looks like a Cartoon Network children's show character.
If the Powerpuff Girls were made into an anime with that age, that's probably how Penny looks like here. But in the comic book, she was a little more she's a little older. I think she's late teens, 16 or something. Yeah.
That would have been a big difference.
Definitely. Yeah. You couldn't. Yeah. And the robot actually looks like an Evangelion mech in the comic. Yeah.
Wow.
It was inspired by it. So in this one, it's it's a big ball cutesy thing, but in the comic, it's some crazy Evangelion mech. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll probably post. I'll have a image right here, but I'll show you after this is done. But the video is probably going a little too long, so I would definitely recommend this.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, we'll give it 2 thumbs up. Yep. Definitely recommend you watching this in theaters. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
really, really good.
I'm glad we went.
Me too. And it's late, so I think I'm gonna go knockouts. And Jesse, you should watch the movie.
I would if I had friends to go with.
And with that, we're done.